Hi, my name is Worth Gregory, and in this video I'm going to cover what your offer means to you, whether it's preferred walk-on, gray shirt, blue shirt, all the way up the ladder, to really give you some more clarity in the situation so you know what you're getting into. Leave a like below, leave a comment. I actually got the idea for this video through a DM. Shoot me a DM if you have any questions. Hit subscribe and send this to anyone that you know that's going through this whole process to give them a little more clarity. Thank you for checking out this video. I'm going to work my way all the way up from a tryout all the way up to early enrollee, full scholarship athlete, to kind of cover all the bases for y'all so you guys know what you're getting into and give you a little more clarity. And I think the first thing that you can really hit is a spring tryout. Now I know that sounds like it's the lowest thing, but you're still getting an opportunity. With a spring tryout, there'll be between 5 to 15 guys in February, March, really depends on the school, and they'll have you run a little bit, have you run routes, whatever your position is, they'll have you do that in February, and then you have the opportunity, if you do well, to make the team for the spring. There's no guarantees after that. You're really just a body for the spring at that point. So for some schools, they can carry 150 plus guys in their spring roster. There's no set amount, and you may even have to share a locker with a guy. So the next real step in the ladder is a PWO with a fall start. So a PWO is a preferred walk-on. So every school can have 135 to 140, a little bit over that, people on the team. And that's really because of Title IX, because you can only have the set amount of guys in sports on scholarship as girls in sports on scholarship across the whole university. So some bigger schools like Alabama or these big SEC schools have the money to be able to push bigger programs and smaller programs so that their football program can have the absolute amount of guys so they can have 140, 145 plus sometimes during the fall. So out of the 135, let's just say, you can only have 85 on scholarship at a time. So that's a big number of guys on scholarship. But also, don't forget, that's 50 guys on the team, almost half or 40% of guys that are paying their way to go to college there. And the majority of guys there are on PWOs, whether it's a fall start or it's a spring start, and they try it out. So the next step is the PWO with the fall start. You're going to start right when classes begin. So sometimes it'll be right after the first game. At some schools, it really depends on when classes start, is when they're allowed to bring you in, have you work out with the team, and start practicing. The next step is a PWO with a camp spot. So each school can only have 110 guys in camp at any given time. So they have the 85 scholarship guys. Those guys are always guaranteed camp. So other than that, you're going to have 25 guys extra that are the walk-ons that'll be in camp. So this is a big deal. If you're a walk-on, especially at a Division I FBS school, and you're going to camp, there's an opportunity for you to play that season and not just be on the scout team. So that is really the next step in the ladder, and that should be the goal for every single guy that is trying to get a walk-on opportunity. I wanted to make sure I covered this step because this is a step that's only really in the Division I AA all the way down through the NAIA levels, and that's really the partial scholarship. So if you're a Division I FBS school, they're not allowed to give partial scholarships. It's either full scholarship or nothing at all. So if you're going Division I, you're either walking on as a PWO, spring enrollee, camp, or you're getting a full scholarship if you're on the FBS level. But if you're FCS or below, you have the opportunity to earn a partial scholarship. So these are some great opportunities because you can combine your partial football scholarship with your academic money and combine those and maybe get as close as you can as a full. I know the biggest sport that really involves this is baseball. So baseball only has a very limited number of scholarships. So almost every baseball player you see, even Division I FBS, is usually on a partial scholarship. They only use the big-time full scholarships for a big-time pitcher or one or two guys on the team. The next step in the ladder that I'm going to cover is the gray shirt. And I probably get questions about this one more than any of them because it can be kind of confusing. So the gray shirt is a full scholarship for your sport, which is an awesome opportunity, full scholarship, but you don't get that scholarship until the spring. So what that forces most guys to do is they need to either stay at home, and you can either hang out with your family for a whole semester through the fall and watch them play and then enroll in college in the spring, or you can go on campus for the fall, pay your own way, maybe work out with a team depending on how the rules work for them, but most of the time, you're really going to be by yourself in the university, and you're not even going to be on the football team at all till the spring. But still, when you start in the spring, you're going to be on full scholarship. Now, I know it sounds kind of sketchy, but nowadays you can sign written agreements with the coaches, and you can make sure no matter what that they honor your gray shirt. So if you've been offered a gray shirt, make sure you get it A, in writing, and B, you make sure that you sit down with the coaches and that they're 100% all in on you for the spring. So the next thing I'm going to cover is really the numbers of how this worked. Like I mentioned before, they can only have 85 guys on a team at a time on scholarship, but they can sign 25 every single year. Well, if you do the math over a 4-year period, that's 100, so it doesn't really add up. So some years, what teams do is they'll sign 17 or 18, depending on the numbers, and if they have a guy graduate and go to the NFL, it kind of messes up their numbers a little bit. So some years they need to sign a little more guys. So the max you can sign is 25, but this is why you'll see some teams sign a little bit less. And the reason that I wanted to cover the numbers here is for the next term, which is the blue shirt. So the blue shirt, similar to the gray shirt, but a little different in the fact that you do go to camp and you do start right in the fall. But the thing about it is you're not allowed to sign on signing day. So if you don't sign on signing day, when do you sign? You sign the first day that you get on campus. You sign on August 1 or August 2, that first day of camp. And the way that they're able to get around this is that this counts towards the next class. So if you're class of 2020 and they offer you a blue shirt, you are now class of 2021 in the NCAA's rule book. And so that's why you will sign on the first day of fall camp. So the only downsides of a blue shirt versus a full scholarship is that A, you can't sign on signing day, or you can sign a piece of paper but it's not a legal document, and B is that you can't do your official visit. So you can't have them show you around, they can't pay for you to fly out to a game, they can't do any of that stuff. So the blue shirt, really, that's the only difference between a blue shirt and the full scholarship, is that you show up day 1 of fall camp and that you're not going to get put on until that date. The next one I'm going to cover is the absolute easiest to cover, and that's because it's the full scholarship. If you're receiving a full scholarship, you absolutely hit the goal that every guy is aiming for. You're one of the 25 guys that can sign that year, and you're going to be one of the 85 guys on that team on scholarship. And the one thing I'll say is if you're offered a full scholarship is ask the coaches what their timeline is. Because when they offer you a full scholarship, they're going all in on you. They're committing to you to not only provide for the team, but provide for their families. Because some of these coaches can only take 1 or 2 guys a year. So if they're offering you as a D lineman and you're going to be one of the 1 or 2 guys they sign that year, he's really betting his salary, his family living in that location on you. They're going all in on you performing for him. So this is an awesome opportunity for you, but you need to know the magnitude of it for the coach as well. He's going all in on you, and he's putting his trust in you to help provide for his family and help out this team. And the reason that I tell you about the timeline is because with the timeline, you need to ask them what they expect from you for when you decide. So that's why I say ask their timeline, because if they're going all in on you and they're committing to you, they need to really know when you're going to commit to them. Because if they're going to tell you, hey, we have 2 months that this offer is out, you need to make that decision in the next 2 months, or they're going to move on to the next guy. You gotta see it from their perspective, really. Because if they go all in on you, and then the day before signing day you sign with someone else, they're left kind of with no one on their board. So that's why you need to figure out what they expect from you. If you're a high-profile guy, sometimes they let you go all the way up till signing day. But if you're a mid-level guy, usually they're going to give you 2 or 3 months to make the decision, decide what school they're going to, so that they can decide if they're going with you or if they need to move on to another guy. The last and final one I will cover is the green shirt. So this term really isn't used that often, but the green shirt is a full scholarship with an early enrollee. So what you're going to do is you're going to start February or January of your senior year. You're going to give up your senior week, your prom, all of that, and you're going to enroll in college early and even be in spring practice. So awesome opportunity for you. Some schools can only take 10 to 15 of these guys in the early enrollee period. So that means not only are you in the 25 guys they sign, but you're one of the top 10 or 15 most important guys in the class, which means they can't go through spring ball without you, and you're pretty important to this class. You're going to get an opportunity to play immediately if you perform well in the spring, and it's really going to give you a leg up on the guys that are coming in, especially if there's a couple guys at your position coming in. It's going to give you really a big leg up on them athletically, as you're going to be able to adapt and make some changes right away. I want to thank you for checking out my YouTube video. I hope I was able to give you a little more clarity of how the recruiting color wheel works. Send this to someone that you know is going through this process as well. The more clarity that for you guys, the easier it is for the coaches. So the more that you guys can learn, the better. I'm gonna try to create YouTube videos just like this every week that you guys can check out. Hit that like button, comment below what ideas that you want to see or any questions that you have. Shoot me a DM, follow me on social, and hit that subscribe button. Thank you.